there any damages to your equipment?
Not that we could see.
Please continue, sir.
I then, together with my staging head of department, looked through the stage as well as our footage from the event, just to ensure that none of the what we call the roof skins had been damaged, because if that's damaged, then it would compromise the integrity of the structure going forward.
Were you informed where this possible damage could have came from?
My head of department did advise me that there was a shooting on site, and it could have come from that.
Did you view the video?
I did.
Mr. Singh, unfortunately because of the location of the television, I'd have to ask you just to step out of the witness box because I'm going to show you two specific videos. There's a second video as well that we want you to view.
Mama, yeah, mama, yeah, here you are. Mama, yeah, here you are. Mama, yeah, here you are. KGB, here you are. KGB, here you are. But he's solo, here you are. But he's solo.
Now, I just want you to view the videos because we'll be asking you questions regarding the videos. You said you had a look at the videos that you had in your position to inspect what might have happened.
Correct.
Did you do so?
I did.
What did you video that you viewed?
From the angle of the stage right camera, I saw obviously someone firing a firearm, but it was done away from the stage, what we call a skin. So at that stage, I was relatively comfortable that no damage would have happened to the roof itself.
Do you know how many times this shots were fired, or how many times did you went to the side this person fired shots?
I don't, sorry.
The video you just observed, is it the same video that you looked at?
Correct.
Yes, where did you get that footage from?
I got it from our audiovisual department. On our scope of work, we were asked to record the event, and I went to the footage of that event.
Did you request the footage, or did you go and fetch it yourself?
I requested the footage.
Was the whole event footage given to you, and then you went to a specific of how it does happen?
Events are recorded in segments based on the capacity of the memory card on the camera and of the recording device. So there were about 3 or 4 segments of the total show, starting from midday till the event closes.
So now you look at the footage and you've seen, you concluded there couldn't have been any damages. What happened now?
So the main idea, or the main reason for looking at the footage, was to not make us have to rebuild the whole structure, because that's a quite intensive 3-day build. After looking at the footage, I checked with my structure engineer to pull the actual skins out of the roof, because that could have been the only possible damage incurred. And we looked at those and pretty much assured ourselves that no damage had been incurred.
When you looked at the footage at the time, were you able to identify who the person was that fired those shots?
No, I wasn't.
What happens now?
To avoid having to rebuild the entire structure, which would require obviously premises and machinery such as a forklift and possibly a crane truck, I told the brigadier that I was satisfied that our stage had suffered no damage and didn't need to be obviously rebuilt. he then asked for footage of the events, as he would like to have a look at it as well.
Yes, proceed.
His team that then obviously visits our premises had a look at the footage on screen and I believe reports it back to him. They wanted the footage immediately and I advised them I need to contact my legal department for advice. I then did and was advised by my legal department. That the law enforcement will need to provide the relevant documentation in terms of I believe a section 205 to get a copy of the footage.
You're referring to 205, you mean a 205 subpoena?
Correct.
Yes, proceed.
They said they would return, and I believe I'm not too sure how many days later they did return with a section 205 to look and to take a copy of the footage.
Were you present when this was done?
I was.
Who downloaded the footage and from where?
Mr. Quarter did that, and we downloaded from the laptop used on the show.
Sorry, Mr. Lee.
Mr. Quarter.
The police and you were all present there when this was done.
Correct.
Did they seal it when they downloaded, after they were downloaded?
They did.
While the footage was in your possession, was it ever tampered with?
No, it wasn't.
Why do you say that?
I logged into a company safe on the premises, and I was the only one with access to it, and only opened again once the lady from the forensic department came to our offices.
Was Brigadier Governor present when this was done?
The unlocking of the safe.
Now the sealing of this footage that you gave to him.
I don't believe he was.
And you confirm that is the footage that you gave to the police.
It's part of the entire footage, yes. The footage we gave to was a comprehensive recording of the entire event. That's obviously a segmented part of the event itself.
One last question. The persons who are responsible for this mentoring stage, before the day found any STEM cartridges in or
I
around?
was let it be hearsay, he knows himself. It's clear.
Sorry, Dodis, are you
Yes, if it's
saying
clear hearsay. If he's asking about the content of a conversation with somebody else, he knows it's hearsay, it's obvious.
don't know if the person will be called advocate?
Well, you'd have to say first.
Then
yes.
that's why I'm asking him. If so, then place it on record if such a person will be called, so it may be provisionally admitted in terms of hearsay. If not, do not elicit hearsay.
If I made a green application at this stage, you wish to allow this evidence under the hearsay act. The person is passed on and I spoke to Mr. Singh.
Any reply to the application under the hearsay?
Your Worship,
Since
Marlon
the
has
person
had an
passed
obligation
away?
to tell Your Worship that he wishes to elicit the evidence of somebody who cannot be called to testify, failed to do so, and for that alone I would submit that it should be disqualified. Over and above that, Your Worship, if the person no longer is alive, I don't know what exception he's relying. It's the clearest form of hearsay that you can come across with respect. And he was aware of it, we were unaware. I had no knowledge and never shared with us, even requested anything from us in this regard. Had he approached me in advance, I would have had a different attitude, but that's now changed, unfortunately.
Advocate Matthews?
This is such a complicated issue, man. That we're not complicated in the sense that if we know about it, one can then argue about. If that all my learned friend has to say, he has not complied with the section of the compliance of section 45 of 1988, because he has not complied with the requirement of you allowing in the hearsay evidence. All he's told us is somebody's dead. This requires you to look at the nature of the evidence, the nature of the proceeding, the purpose for which it is tendered, the probative value of the evidence, the reason why it's not given by the person, for whose credibility the probative value rests, any prejudice to a party which the administration of such evidence might entail, and any other factor that the court may take into account. It is straight law, my lady, almost, that in criminal proceedings the admission of hearsay evidence is to be avoided as far as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, from the court side, living on the edge here. Has the state approached the defense in any regard of the statement of the said deceased person, name not known to me, whether it is in dispute and if it can be submitted by consent in terms of section 213 of Act 51 of 1977, or would the defense be opposed to such a request?
Bishop, we've never been approached, we're unaware that this person is deceased.
Up
There's
until
never been
today,
such a
you were
thing.
not informed he was
Yes.
deceased.
I didn't know, Your Worship. I've never been approached by the estate.
You should try and use this on that aspect. This matter won't take any further. I don't see why it was here to make an application and abandon the application where the evidence, because not taking the matter hold of the evidence.
So you're withdrawing your question. Thank you, Advocate Caesar. Thought you done when you took a seat. You may continue.
Basically, I have no further questions to this particular witness. It was my last question.
Thank you, Advocate Caesar.
Thank you, Worship.
Mr. Otis, he's also new to the system. I'll just take that minute and repeat myself.
So with my turn, you just have more space while we do it.
It does expedite matters a bit. The next process is cross-examination. Firstly, Advocate Odes with regards to accused number 1, thereafter Advocate Matthews on behalf of accused number 2 will have an opportunity to cross-examine you. It means they may ask questions from you, many of which you may have already testified about, but if you are asked, you are required to please answer clearly and directly again. They may also place a statement before you. It's normally phrased in, I put it to you, sir, or my instructions are, followed by a statement. You may respond by saying, yes, you agree with the statement. You may disagree with the statement. If it's not within your knowledge, you do not know, feel free to say so. If you are not clear on any question or you did not hear clearly, feel free to ask, and I'm sure the defense will assist by repeating. Okay, understood? Thank you, Advocate Otis. If you're ready, you may proceed.
Firstly, Mr. Singh, it's quite clear, and excuse me for stating the obvious, you were not at the 5th birthday celebration of the EFF, is that true?
No, sir, it wasn't.
So, as to what happened on the 28th of July 2018, you have no personal recollection, you were not there, never experienced it, you agree with me?
That's correct.
The first that you heard about this incident was when a Brigadier Governor approached you with a view to inspecting your equipment, is that correct?
That's correct, it was a phone call.
And when he made that request to you, you wanted to inspect the stage, including what you referred to as a tent, is that correct?
The stage, correct, yes.
And he had asked about a tent. You said we don't do tents, we do the stage, and what you referred to as the cover, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, you obviously had to be perturbed by this information because it was company equipment, and as you testified, had there been a bullet hole to any of the covers, it would have impacted on the integrity of the cover, is that correct?
That's correct.
Realizing the significance of such an inspection, you obviously checked those covers very carefully. Do you agree with me?
I had my staff do that, yes.
Well, you ensured that your staff did a thorough check, an inspection of the covers to ensure that there was no damage, is that correct?
Correct.
And it's clear that there was in fact no damage. You agree with me?
Correct.
Had there been damage, you would have reported it, or the staff, or anybody who caused the damage. Do you agree with me?
I do, that's correct.
Now, you have no idea what time this event began. Do you agree?
I have a rough time frame, but no exact idea.
What's your rough time frame?
Around midday, I believe.
As far as you're concerned, it began around midday, and when did it finish, sir?
I would say around 11 p.m. from the information I have.
So I'd like to put to you as a fact in the court's heard today that according to your employer, Mr. Corbett, started before midday. If you have any comment.
Could very well be true.
But having been there, you had no personal knowledge of the events. You agree with that?
Correct. I was relying on information passed via communication channels.
Now, I further understood from your testimony that the entire event was recorded from beginning to end, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, who decided which snippets or extracts to take out of that entire footage?
I would assume it would be the state or law enforcement.
Yeah. So unfortunately for you, not entitled to it. You were there. No, I'm not finished. I don't catch you. You were there. You were called to explain to this court the procedure followed in the extraction of the footage. Who made the decision?
I don't believe any decision was made to extract a segment. I believe we download the entire footage, unless I'm understanding your question incorrectly.
Now, if, as the previous witness said, the event began at approximately 10 a.m. and ran till approximately 2300 hours, the actual footage that was provided to the state would be some 12 or 13 hours would be different.
Correct.
You watched the footage in court. The two together don't even take the 5 minutes to do.
Correct.
Now, I need to know from you, so do you know who extracted those segments from the original 12 or 13 hour recording?
No, I don't.
So when you identified the footage in court as having been the footage that you extracted, what you meant to say was that this is a segment of that which we handed over to the Hawks, is that correct?
That's correct.
Because it's a matter of record, we didn't sit here for 13 hours watching the video, you know that. You agree with me?
I do.
I don't mean to be rude, I'm going to just ask you again. You played no role in determining how those segments were extracted from the original footage, is that correct?
No, I did not.
That's why when you testified, you very fairly said that that was part or a segmented part of the event itself. It's not the entire footage you agree with me. Now, another issue that troubled me is when the members of the Hawks came to your office on the first occasion and requested the footage, they did not have a Section 205 subpoena with them. Do you agree with that?
Correct.
In fact, as I understand your testimony, they were very happy to informally take it from you and utilize it. You found an attorney or legal advisor who then told you that the correct procedure is for them to obtain a Section 205 subpoena. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Weren't you shocked that they behaved in this manner?
I would say surprised because I'm obviously not quite clued up on the legal process, but I would think that if you wanted any kind of evidence, you would need to follow a proper procedure.
And it was you who took the initiative to phone your, I don't know if it's an attorney or legal advisor, who then explained to you that the correct procedure is to obtain a Section 205 subpoena, and that thereafter it was upon your insistence that such a subpoena was obtained. Is that correct?
That's correct. I was obviously unaware of what to do and sought advice from her.
Objection to this line of questioning to this particular witness. You say that there is the correct procedure that needs to be followed. It doesn't mean that was the only procedure that needs to be followed to get the procedures from the particular witness. I mean, that is, the question is really not fair.
Fair enough, George. I'll rephrase. I'm not going to argue with my benefit.
Simply rephrase.
Yes, I'll rephrase. I accept what he's saying and I'll rephrase. I apologize.
Thank you.
So I'm not here to mislead you. The objective fact is that once the members of the Hawks wanted to leave with footage, you were the one who inquired as to what procedure ought to be followed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Prior to that, none of them had mentioned to you what procedure ought to be followed. Is that correct?
I don't recollect, so no.
Yes, sir. You've answered this already. You testified in chief that they asked you for the footage. You then contacted your legal department, and you advised of the legal requirements of Section 205 to obtain the footage. Is that correct? Were you ever explained that procedure by the members of the Hawks?
No.
Everybody?
No.
Now approach the accused.
Certainly.
Apologize for that. One aspect, sir. When you watched the video, you didn't know any of the people in the video, is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you, Worship. I'm not correct. I apologize, Worship, and I don't need to be rude. The accused is called now approaching. Now this judge, sorry.
Just indicating what some water.
Oh,
Anybody can
it
provide
seems-
me water.
I think the defense is also out of stock, and I don't think justice has any stock. Thank you.
Just a little bit, thank you. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the water from the jug is coming from,
Yeah.
so it isn't.
That could have been standing there for days.
Yours, I'm going to remove you. You cannot identify the shooter, and you said so in chief, is it?
Correct.
You need to speak up so it's being recorded.
I said that's correct, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Advocate Matthews?
Thank you. Just one issue. You say Mr. Kwata downloaded the footage from a laptop and gave it to the Hawks. Correct?
From my laptop onto a hard drive.
You downloaded it from the laptop onto a hard drive, gave to the Hawks. Where's that laptop?
That laptop was subsequently stolen in an event.
At an event.
Yeah, another event.
So, if I want to well, let's say this. The laptop contained what, let's say, the original recording.
Correct.
If I want to compare that original recording to something that's been downloaded somewhere, you're telling me I'm unable to do so, correct?
At this stage, no.
So there's no way that I, as a defense advocate or on behalf of my client, can verify that what we are now seeing was in fact the correct video.
I would say that's correct. The last time, if I'm allowed to answer, would have been originally when I handed it over.
Sure.
Yeah.
You see, because when Mr. Ingova testified, he said that he was called to a meeting with the Hawks. Do you recall such a meeting at your premises?
There were quite a few, sir. Initially, then to take statements, and we were all obviously kept or treated separately.
He then says he was shown the first video that was there on shown to you today,
I wouldn't know because it wasn't in the meeting.
and he wasn't shown the second one.
I wouldn't know because it wasn't in that meeting.
Well, you as the manager not being in the meeting when your staff was getting to be cut off.
I'm not sure, busy with other work, out to a meeting. Could have been different reasons. Like I said, there were several visits to our premises.
I'm concerned about this fact that the original recording of this event is on a laptop that's gone missing.
I'll have
How
to,
did it go missing?
so I'll have to give you a layman's diagram of how it works, so you probably understand.
I just want to know, how did the laptop go missing?
Oh, it's quite a common thing in our industry. It's a high commodity item, so it moves from job to job, and
It's done.
people obviously nick it because it's easy to conceal and put under a jacket and walk out with it.
Did you were not told to reserve this laptop?
And no, just the hard drive.
You bet you just bear with me. Sorry, there was something else I wanted to clarify. No, thank you, Richard. That's it.
Any re-examination, Advocate Caesar?
Other re-examination, thank you.
Sorry, Richard, could I just approach my client? He's getting something. Thank you. Did you report the theft of this laptop to the police?
You
believe
do
it
have
was.
my permission to proceed.
Ah, sorry.
I believe so. It's standard procedure in our company.
You believe so?
Well, it's a long time ago, but I would say yes, because for us to do an insurance claim, we would have to have an SAPS number.
All right, thank you.
Is that it?
That's it, thank you, Molly.
Okay. Mr. Singh, lastly, by court, just a few questions for clarity.
Sure.
Please keep in mind I do not have the information to my disposal as the defense and the state. So it's only if you are able to answer and to clarify some aspects if you are able to do so.
Sure.
Just for clarity then, whose laptop was actually stolen?
The company, DR South Africa.
So therefore, can you say that the laptop used by Mr. Ngobo to download footage onto a hard drive is the laptop that was stolen?
Correct.
How are you able to do so?
By serial number.
Serial number?
Yes.
Have you done that?
Yes, we've done that. Are you talking about the case report as alluded to, or something different?
Sorry?
Are you talking about the case report as alluded to, or something different?
No, the matter before court.
Yes. Could you repeat the question, please?
So, can you say that it was the laptop which Mr. Ngobo used to download the footage that was later stolen?
Yes, that's correct.
And
Mr. Quater, not Mr. Noble.
Yes, now you see that is why I'm asking you for clarity. You've mentioned two names now. Mr. Ngobo said he downloaded that onto his laptop, onto a hard drive.
Yes.
Now you are referring to another download by who?
Mr. Quater.
Quater.
Quater. K-W-A-T-A.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one with Mr. Quater
Yeah.
in the presence of yourself and the police.
Correct.
That laptop was stolen.
Correct.
Not the one by Mr. Ngobo.
It's one of the same. It's the same thing.
And the hard drive?
The hard drive wasn't stolen. So the external
That's
hard drive.
still in your possession.
The initial one? Initial download?
Yes.
Correct.
Are you still employed at Gear Company?
I am in.
Has this incident or coming to court affected your company in any negative manner?
Tangibly, no, but I would rather not be here. But no,
Yes,
no.
that's visible, so I'm still getting to that.
Yeah, so no tangible repercussions to date. Yeah.
Now, for what you've just said, you would rather not be here. Can you explain?
Yeah, obviously, the dependent or the institution he represents are good clients of ours. Always had a good relationship, so it obviously does. One might construe it to be awkward for me, and
Okay.
yeah, hence I say so.
Are they still clients of yours?
They are.
I see. Now, based on what you've just said, you're sharing a good relationship with Mr. Malema. That is who you are referring to.
Correct.
How can you not identify the people on the video footage that you watched, the two segments?
When asked initially, ma'am, the angle, and once again, you'd have to be a technical person like myself, and where it was shot, didn't give me a clear picture of the face. And I couldn't conclusively. This was the question they asked me.
So,
Can
okay, are you saying then direct facial?
Yes,
Based
correct,
on that,
correct,
you cannot
yeah.
say. Okay. So I do understand that you feel uncomfortable, and now you've explained because I picked
Yeah.
it up from your body language, and now you've clarified to me. So thank you for that. Let me just check something else. Is this the first time that you were asked by SABC, Hawks, law enforcement, any person for copies of footage?
Correct.
So this is completely new territory
Yes,
for you
very
at that
new.
stage.
Yeah.
Okay. Naturally, it's your right to do so and to phone your legal department, especially if one is available.
Yeah.
What urged you to do so, though? Was there a reason? Did something feel not right, uncomfortable? The motivation behind seeking legal advice when something as ordinary as video footage is requested?
Yeah. So a couple-fold. One was obviously being called out the blue by law enforcement, and as law enforcement sometimes do, are they not really cognizant of what works, but just want to come and take all your equipment away, and that would obviously be detrimental to the business, having that equipment impounded or whatever else.
Okay, yes.
And twofold, by virtue of being a client, one has to obviously consult a higher power than myself just to make sure that we are not infringing anyone's rights or doing anything that's
So it was to satisfy that you were complying with whatever may.
Yes, and although I'm the branch manager, I don't have absolute power, so you know, I didn't want to overstep my remit in terms of what I'm employed to do.
Thank you. Any questions based on the court's questions, Advocate Caesar?
None.
Advocate Oris?
None, Your Worship.
Thank you. Advocate Matthews?
Nothing.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Singh. We have finalized your evidence. You may comfortably stand down. Okay. Are we calling it a day at this stage?
There is agreement that I need to call a witness now, this lateness down. I also need to attend to some of the other justice.
Yes,
So that's the
I have a very short proposal to put to the defense and the state, which you can deliberate on. We can, I'll even meet you at any door just regarding the seat, and then we'll come back and are we in agreement to roll it until Fortunately, I've been informed Wednesday and Thursday we don't have any load shedding. Friday is deemed to be a disaster, I'm told. So based on that, can we have a 10-second word and you can just deliberate on my proposal? The court will briefly adjourn and we'll return shortly. Thank you.
I wouldn't have wanted to get the city gave it no, but the almost city gave it project.